so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you're joining me from. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Accept my greeting according to your time zone. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. You can be among the first to receive it. Then go to the comment section at all times. Leave your comment, drop your contribution. If you have suggestions, make it out there. If you have any criticism, put it down on the comment section. It will make us to get better, presenting you a better program. Thank you so much. Nobody seemed to be talking about it. In that counter queue, first of all, they took away all the officers from Biafra land. All military officers in Biafra land were murdered in good blood. As if that is not enough. The man that is parading himself today as a statesman, Danjuma murdered the first general in Africa, the first legitimate, registered, and well-trained general in Africa, Agironsi. Danjuma murdered Agironsi and Fajui. Agironsi and Fajui, these are people, the head of state and his friend. Fajui. For no just cause. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody seems to talk about it. Instead, they celebrate those people that conducted that coup. Every one of them that get involved in that coup today, they celebrate them. But these are the people who murdered innocent people. Every officer, every military officer from Biafra land, they were murdered. They were murdered in the barracks, surrounded and murdered. As if that wasn't enough. They even came to the street, in the counter queue, in the street. Innocent Biafrans, their life were wasted. Innocent Biafrans who doesn't have anything with what happened in the barrack. They had nothing to do with it. They are not in governance. They were murdered in the counter queue. But do you know that nobody seemed to be remembering or be talking about the counter queue? Nobody seemed to, they didn't see anything wrong in that counter queue. Where innocent people were murdered because of revolution. And can you tell me the genuine reason they have? What reason did they have to murder a head of state? What reason? When it comes to revolution, Chukuma Kaduna Nzogu and all the rest of them participated in that revolution, they had a point. That was a reason they gave. They had a legit point. That the politicians then were corrupt, just as they are today. They were so corrupt that the country was falling into ditch. They preach hatred just the way they have preached again today. Just the same hatred you see they have introduced now. That was what transpired that time. That was what Kaduna Nzogu saw, and he said he cannot be able to stand it. The same way you see them today planting hatred in the mindset of the whole indigenous people. The same hatred you see them today pushing in the heart of every indigenous person. Making the indigenous people to hate themselves. Pushing them against one tribe. This same message of hatred was what they were doing during that time. That Chukwu Kaduna Nzogu saw, and he wasn't okay with it. Then he called other his fellow officers. And they came together and they decided that they were going to put a stop to these corrupt politicians and install Awolowo, who is not even a Biafra. Awolowo is somebody they want to go and bring for prison because they believe that Awolowo was jailed unlawfully. Awolowo was genuine, but they jailed him unlawfully. They wanted to bring him out and make him the prime minister. And the same people that truncated that very queue were Biafran people. Biafran people stopped the queue. Still, these people were not satisfied. They went ahead for a counter queue and they murdered Biafran officers. All the officers from Biafran land were murdered. Many officers today, they are not celebrated anywhere. Their name is not mentioned. No compensation. Nothing is written about them. A head of state was murdered for no just cause. Fajui was murdered. Two of them, very important, the best trained military Nigeria have ever had. Agironsi and Fajui. The best trained and legitimate, the first general in Africa. Genuine and strong general in Africa. Agironsi, trained in Britain, was murdered. Up to today, there is no stone raised everywhere on his name. The person that murdered him today is still being celebrated as a statesman. The very person who murdered Aguirre for no just cause, no reason whatsoever, murdered Fajui because Fajui was telling him not to kill his visitor. That man is still parading himself everywhere, celebrating himself. He was being celebrated and even offered an oil well. Every single one of them that participated in that genocide today, they are being celebrated. Every one of them. Babangida was there. The late Muhammad Buhari was there. What do they call him? This idiot was still there. Danjuma. Danjuma was the key actor who murdered the president and his friend. He's been celebrated today and given oil wells. They have been pushing this very presidency within themselves, sharing the country. The country have just become, after they conducted that coup, after that counter coup, every one of them now have taken Nigeria as their personal property, including Gowon. Gowon, who came on to become a president, who was used, who signed up for the murder of the Biafran people, Biafran children. Every one of them is still there now today, celebrated. And the most painful one is that the people they murdered in cold blood are not remembered. No stone is raised in their name. Nobody seems to care. They are too quick to remind you of Kaduna and Zogu and the death of Tafa Balewa. But they don't talk about the counter coup that took away responsible and well-trained officers from Biafra land. But they are talking about a terrorist that was taken out by revolution. A hateful terrorist that was taken out by revolution. Tafa Balewa, who was a terrorist, who was planting this hate you are seeing today. The hate that is flying today, he was the one that planted that hate. And that was one of the reasons he was taken out. He is the person they celebrate. Murtala Muhammad, one of the murderers, is the person they celebrate today. But the innocent officers who were murdered are forgotten totally. You dare not talk about it. You dare not mention their name anywhere. They are not mentioned anywhere. You don't even talk about them, let alone laying down a stone on their behalf. And you want us to fold our hand and pretend that all is well. You want us to fold our hand and pretend all is well. This has happened for long time ago, getting to 100 years now. Pursuing 100 years now. And it still continues. It has still continued. The dehumanization of the people from Biafra land, taking their life and property, just taking their life anytime they wish, they just smoke your life out. They are still doing it. And when they do it unapologetically. They don't care. Today they can still wake up one morning and they send plane in Biafra land to go and bomb a place. And they have graduated to the extent that they are now using our own people. They are now using our own people to perpetrate that evil in Biafra land. That is how bad it is. We have a very strong enemy before us. That is why I'm begging every Biafran. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter who you think you support. It doesn't matter the area you think is your specialization. It doesn't matter who you think is sponsoring you. Let us focus on the real enemy. I am begging. The enemy that is up against us is they are unrepentant. The Pharaoh that is against us is unrepentant, and he will do everything to take you and I out. Why don't we focus on that enemy? Why don't you focus on that pronounced enemy that we know? Why must we begin to look towards our own self? Why must we continue to look? It doesn't matter what your brother is doing, whether he does it well or does it wrong, he does it right. Why don't you focus on that enemy? Even if you feel that you cannot work with your brother, you feel you can't work with this your brother, he is too fast, or he's too smart for your liking, or you cannot be able to catch up with his own wisdom, do you have to fight him? Do you have to fight him? Do you have to fight him? Every one of us have to be focused. Let us focus on the real enemy. Let us challenge the real enemy. Let us challenge the real enemy that you and I know. That enemy that doesn't want us alive. Why don't we focus on challenging that enemy? Let us channel our energy to that enemy. Let us stop all this bickering. The enemy that we are up against is pronounced. It is not something to say you don't know. We know the enemy we are up against. And the most painful thing that every platform you see, they will come out and tell you, I love Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is my leader. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is your leader. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is your leader, but you will learn nothing from Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. If you learn from Mazen Nnamdi, you can see that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu does not channel his energy to any Biafra. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu doesn't declare war against any Biafra. He doesn't waste his time. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's main focus is the target of getting freedom. We have seen in different occasions, even when his own brothers rise up against him, he speaks about them once, twice, and that is it. Sometimes he will never ever talk about the person anymore. He won't mention it. He will move ahead. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu doesn't challenge it, including the man in the creek. When the man in the creek was busy abusing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, calling him name, he kept quiet as if it doesn't exist. It was only once that he responded to him. Only once he responded to him. After that response, he moved on. You that call yourself the follower of Mazen, why don't you learn? You feel that Mazen Simon Ekpa is not doing it well. He doesn't know what he's doing. He is deceiving people. Why don't you now begin to create your own idea to correct people? Since you feel create your own idea, convince people, win souls, and now pursue Biafra and get it. Convince people to follow you, not by causing Mazen Simon Ekpa, calling him name and distracting him, and you end up doing nothing. And I want to tell everybody that is watching here, do you really think that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who is in the hand of the enemy today, is not getting the information of what is happening outside? I want you to ask yourself sincerely, do you think that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not getting information of everything that is happening outside? Do you think that the lawyers are not telling Mazen Nnamdi Kanu what Mazen Simon Ekpa is doing? In your own common sense, think. I want you to pause for a minute. Just pause for a minute. Think within your own sense. Do you really think that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not being told what Mazen Simon Ekpa has been doing outside? You think he's not getting the feedback? And if you now know that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu gets information of everything that Mazen Simon Ekpa is doing, because Mazen Simon Ekpa remains the only name that is ringing bell in the zoo today. That is the name that is ringing bell in their media, in their brokers, in Asorok, everywhere. In their security, Mazen Simon Ekpa is the name ringing bell, including their diplomatic moves. Do you think that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not seeing or hearing all that? If Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is hearing all that, do you think if Mazen Nnamdi Kanu feels that what Mazen Simon Ekpa is not doing right, that what Mazen Simon Ekpa is doing is not right, or that Mazen Simon Ekpa is endangering his life, do you think that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will keep silent? He will not direct his attorney He will not direct his lawyers to send out a memo and tell Mazi Samuel Ekpa, hey, stop there. Enough is enough. If you believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gets information, we have seen several times that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have ordered his lawyers to give information outside. Even when the Karo White lawyer was there. When Karo White was there, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was giving him instructions on what to do. And even at that time, do you think that Karo White was not feeding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with everything that Mazi Samuel was doing? But did you ever see one day, did you ever hear one day that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, Mazi Samuel Ekpa, stop what you are doing. Stop broadcasting. Stop talking to Biafrans. You are not my disciple. You are not speaking for me. You are endangering my life. Have you ever had such kind of memo from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu since his kidnapped? This is one important question that every one of us must start with thinking. When they come to deceive you, they come to tell you this, they were with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for donkey years. Oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made them this and made this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gave them this post and those posts. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu swear oath with them. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think that if Mazi Samuel Ekpa is doing something that is wrong, you think that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be silent? He will not issue a memo. But the memos that we have seen, the first one we saw was a congratulation for Mazi Samuel Ekpa. The first one came. The information said, we should continue to do whatever we are doing. The situation is tough for me, but for you, stand your ground and continue to hold your ground. That message was directly to Mazi Samuel Ekpa because he was the only person making wave and holding ground that time. The second memo came. It says, do not interrupt in anything that Mazi Samuel Ekpa is doing. Let him be free to do what he wants to do. Whatever you are doing on your own part, go ahead and do it. But for Mazi Samuel Ekpa, whatever he does, don't interrupt. That order was given. And you thought it was a joke. It wasn't enough. And I ask you again, do you really think that if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can issue a memo there, he gets information of everything? If he finds out, if he hears what Mazi Samuel Ekpa is doing, if it is not something that's going to help Biafra and help him in the situation, do you think that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be silent and he will not issue an order? Go back home and answer that question within yourself, in your heart. If you answer that question correctly, then you wake up from your sleep and you continue to follow the right person you are supposed to follow. You continue to follow Mazi Samuel Ekpa and pray for him every blessed day for protection, for wisdom, for growth, for progress. That is what you're supposed to do. Go back home within your own self. Think about this very statement. Think deeply about it. A very strong question you must ask. Forget about grudges. Forget about argument. Put every support you have, whether you support the Department of Saboteur or you support Mazi Samuel Ekpa, so no matter who you support, keep your mind plain and ask yourself this question. Does it mean that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, after hearing everything that Mazi Samuel Ekpa is doing outside, he's not pleased? Won't it be right that he will give an order and tell him to stop? Wouldn't it be right that he will detach himself from Mazi Samuel Ekpa? Doesn't he have that right? Doesn't he have that opportunity to speak? You and I know that he has opportunity to speak because he has spoken several times. He has spoken several times through his lawyers. We have seen different memos coming. And for those who will say, oh, he's not the one issuing the memo. He's not the one. But there are memos that he issued that you accepted. That very one you issued, he said, do you think that in that same manner he issued that memo that you accepted, do you think that if he sees that Mazi Samuel Ekpa is doing the right thing, do you think that he will not go ahead and issue order? On your mama Chineke, my brother, the network is really, sometimes it's not network. The network is doing, it's not network, it is Facebook itself. Facebook is giving me hell. They are giving me hell. I'm just trying to stand strong and continue to send this message. Facebook is not helping matters. That is the problem. But we must continue. We must continue. We can never stop. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, please, this is a very great point. And I want you to hold this point when you answer the question. When you answer that question, hold it within your heart. Any place they confront you about Mazi Samuel Ekpa, Anybody you see speaking of government or telling you, why do you believe in Mazi Simon Ekpa? Ask that person, do you believe in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? He will say yes. You believe in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Do you believe in your so-called command and control you were preaching? He says he believes in command and control. You believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the highest order. You believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu hears from his lawyers and he can send information for lawyer. He says yes. Why not you wait? Let Mazi Nnamdi Kanu give an order to stop Mazi Simon Ekpa and see whether if it will continue. Let them wait for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to give order and say, Mazi Simon Ekpa, stop doing what you are doing. I am not with you. You are not fighting for me. Or you are destroying the struggle. Or you are setting the struggle back. Or you are jeopardizing the struggle. Any word he uses, why don't they have patience? Why you wait for that comment to come? Continue to pursue Biafra in your own way. That way, that path you feel is the right path. Continue to do it. Why do you spend your energy and time on doing things that are irrelevant? Chasing shadows. Pursuing a battle that you will never ever win. Exposing yourself and making yourself irrelevant day by day. We have a strong and tough enemy. We, the Biafran people, have a lot of work in our hand. Every one of us need to be engaged in one area or the other, not against ourselves. And definitely not against somebody who is in the front, running fast to catch up and bring the Biafra for you. It doesn't matter whether he's doing it wrong or right. You that has all the brain, you have all the ideas, why don't you start from somewhere? Mazi Simon Ekpa started from somewhere. From broadcasting. Broadcasting, he was recognized. He was called close. He held meetings. From there, he picked up. He was talking to Biafra. He won their soul. And he got to the stage he is. Today, we have Biafran Republic government in exile. With officials operating and working. We are having allies. Meetings are diplomatic meetings are hosting everywhere. Biafra is being recognized more than ever. Informations are going through. Meetings are held daily. Mazi Simon Ekpa is busy. He's a busy man. Very, very busy for Biafra. Not just for himself. A busy man when it comes to the issue of Biafra. Why don't you get busy? Get busy. Talking about him is not the deal. Get busy. We have a lot of things to do. There are so many areas you can participate. Pick one and quit talking about the person that is doing the real job. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama continue to guide and protect every one of us. I want to remind you once again, please answer that question strictly. Do you think that Mazi Simon Ekpa is doing the wrong thing and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not issued a memo for him to stop? For me personally, I believe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu knows what Mazi Simon Ekpa is doing, and if he's doing something that is wrong, he is going to issue a memo and stop him. Why don't you wait until then? Today, I am in autopilot. Many of us who are autopiloted, we believe in Mazi Simon Ekpa and we are following every directive that he gives. Because he is building on that foundation laid by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He is maintaining the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and will continue to do so until Biafra comes. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama continue to guide and protect every Biafran, wherever you are watching from. Please, I beg you in the name of Chukwu Okike Abiyama, continue to share this broadcast. In any WhatsApp group you belong, share the broadcast in your WhatsApp group, share to family and friends, share it to anybody you can reach. That is how we can be able to pass our message. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect all the Biafrans, all the Dudu ones, all the Middle Belters, everyone that is genuinely seeking for freedom. You will have freedom in your lifetime. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect all our media warriors. Guide and protect all the members of the Biafran government republic in exile. Guide and protect all our ESM members and the Liberation Army. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect all the forces that are fighting for Biafra underground. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect the Umuada, our media warriors. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. Wherever he is, we cover him with the presence of Chukwu Okike Abiyama. No power of the enemy shall penetrate him, both spiritual and physical. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama guide and protect our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. granting divine healing, divine protection, divine visitation, divine anointing. May Chukwu continue to strengthen him, continue to keep him until we meet him very, very soon. No weapon formed or fashioned against the Biafran people shall prosper. No weapon formed or fashioned against our spokesperson, Master Sabanako, shall prosper. No weapon formed or fashioned against our supreme leader, Master Nandekanu, shall prosper. I thank you all for being part of this very broadcast up to now. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay safe. I will see you again tomorrow by the special grace of Chukwu Kabiam. Please always be around. When you don't see us online, try to check on us because Facebook cannot send notification. We're only trying by our own self to send out the notification. Thank you so much for watching. I remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you.